Hey everyone, welcome back. So this is Lucid, and I've got Demosthenes and Darkside Cookies with me.
Hey, folks.
Hello, this is Cookies.
And yeah, we're picking back up this Shinuyama game. And what would you say is kind of a summary of where we were so far?
Yeah, so
Uh,
we have finished expansion. It is turn 12. We have naps with our western neighbor Asphodel, who has a very scary looking bless. And I think it was actually around this time that Kirby, who's playing Naba to my south, told me, "Watch out for Asphodel. I think they're really strong at Dominion 6," and he's played a lot more Dominion 6 multiplayer games than I have. So that will be sort of an ongoing conversation with Kirby about what I should be worried about.
yeah,
But that's definitely the nation that I'm sort of most afraid of right now in terms of my neighbors. And we sort of Nazca to our north has had sort of bad expansion, and we are about to attack them, in which some might call an elfing because it's going to start with some stealth strikes beyond the lines. I would actually call it a gorbling because elves
Hmm.
are these really powerful, brave, capable troops. And these will be attacking with goblins who are extremely cowardly and will run at the first sign of trouble. But against the 1 to 6 PD are perfectly suitable in small numbers, and they only cost 5 gold each. So if you can bring 100 if you need to. Um,
yeah. You know what's kind of funny? I just thought of since that is one of the major weaknesses of these guys is having bad morale, and they're undisciplined, so they get further malice, and then in hostile dominion they get another malice.
yep.
And then these guys are just normal leaders. It would be interesting because you could actually play where you have parties led by these guys,
Yeah, you can do an inspirational
and
leadership
do an
bless.
inspirational bliss. Kind of
Yeah,
like
that's not a bad
interesting.
idea. I
Yeah.
will say that I figured out some technology a little bit later for how to have less embarrassing routes with goblins, but I think we'll talk about it when we get
Yeah.
there. I've not figured out that yet. Um,
And
yeah.
anything you want to add, Dark Side Cookies, before we get into the turn?
Uh, I so in Dominions 5, I tried a couple of inspirational blesses, and it would be probably not super effective, but it would be kind of fun
Yeah.
to try something with the little shaman for
Yeah.
fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's two things for this turn. Yeah, so we're recording our first Bakumoto Sorcerer, who's going to be our big site searcher. There's
Right.
two
Yeah,
things we should
we
talk about.
got
One
the
is we got the
Tango King too, which we didn't mention. This.
yeah, that
Okay. Sorry, a little cough there. Had to pause. Okay, so we're back. So attacking with these little low morale gobos. You got the Tengu King as a hero, which is
yeah.
sick. That's awesome to get early.
Yeah,
Um,
and we our this build I specifically took at least Air 2, Earth 1 on my Pretender so I could get the Daitengu later because air access is just super valuable, and that's one of the really cool
mhm.
things about this nation that you have summons that give you high air. I think they're Air 3, and there's also this cool sort of nature gem summons that break you into glamour. So I'm sort of planning on that for later in the game, but here it's turn 12 and I've already got an air site searcher who can also
Yeah.
do air magic in a pinch. So pretty excited about that. The other thing we should check out is the battle north of our capital.
Well, this one,
So this is sort of just, well, you can check that ping if you're curious.
the battle
There's a
north of your capital.
south of our capital, sorry.
Oh,
Um,
south. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, yeah. So we had a caveman event attack, and that's actually where I was really feeling that was pretty fantastic that we had this giant pile of archers that were wandering around. So this is actually standing in that province that I pointed out earlier that had the
Hmm.
vengeful crone cursed land, and
Oh yeah.
and so it turned out that was actually a good place to stash those guys to patrol out on west because they actually killed an indie attack. And a lot of the indie attacks, aside from the knights, are pretty vulnerable to archers. So it can actually be pretty useful just have a squad of archers who walk around killing barbarians if you take misfortune. We actually have luck scales, but you still get plenty of bad events, especially early game before scales are spread.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
Cool. I
but,
guess let's get into this war with Nazca,
right.
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Ready for the next turn.
All right, we're back with turn 13. It looks like you guys are going to be fighting a little bit over Nazca because we've got a pride from Nidavanger attacking as well.
Yeah, and
And I
I've been
think
in
we've seen
touch
their
with
bless
him.
before, right? Yeah.
Yes, their bless. I will note there is more to their bless that I do not know about at this time. I haven't seen their scales
Yeah.
and so
Okay.
on. So we'll down it. We discover it, but
Yeah, this is a strong bless, though. So,
this is a strong, basic, non-incarnate bless for.
yeah. So that was successful. They just ran. They're running 10 PD though. That may be a problem for some of your goblins, if they have that in your provinces as well.
That fight was just west of the Nazca capital in their cap circle, so
Oh, okay.
Navanger is definitely going in. Here, I think this is the
Yeah, this is
farm
only like
that
2
they lost
PD.
stuff taking, so it's like 2 PD
Yeah.
there. And that
And
might
then
suggest sort of, in some sense, the desperation of with all these unrest events making gold scarce and their sort of troubled expansion. Places that they took later might be not protected by PD. This one I think does have some though, so we'll see.
Slingers too, which can cause some trouble.
Slingers are about the worst case scenario for us, and we lost. I think in the actual battle we won. As you saw, the
They
one
took
thing
casualties. Yeah.
about the sling.
Okay, we had Demosthenes rejoin the call. Okay, here we go. We're back online again. Sorry, we keep getting interrupted here.
No.
Yeah, so in the real battle, you guys won. Though you can see with different RNG, you could have lost this one.
Yeah. You probably saw in the replay that we like got into melee with the commander, and I think even routed him. But just through what happened a little bit earlier.
Yeah, that is kind of interesting. The commander runs out in front.
Yeah, it's because there's no melee troops, right? But yeah, I don't understand.
But you would think they
I
would
was
be on stay behind troops or something. Yeah, they normally will stay behind archers. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting.
Yes, and now the commanders are brave. Turns out.
Yeah. Okay. And then Nazca rides out over this way and attacks some Indies. I think these are barbs that have attacked them.
That we've been sneaking through. This is the original troops in that cap circle province.
Oh, okay. And they're successful, but they do take some losses. They lost 7 troops, 2 of which were sacreds. So, not amazing when you're getting 3v1'd, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can see the Navanger also took the swamp north of that, which our scouts didn't see.
I think when people see 2 different factions in your cap circle, they have a tendency to think you're on your way out too.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty tough convincing people you're alive now. But the problem, of course, is that they don't have many provinces left to defend, and they still have a fair amount of armies. So it's looking like you guys are doing an all-in here.
Yeah, not quite an all-in.
Nazca could do a PD dump and kill you guys here, though I don't know if it's worth it to defend a waste.
I think it would be worth it for him, because if he kills my army, then he doesn't, that's one less army he has to deal with. So I think that would be worth considering if he thought he could win. Barbarian PD is the ideal PD for that type of play.
I think I was a little worried that they would push one of our armies too.
Oh, y'all are even splitting a bit.
Well, we're just sending in some goblins. So if you look at the province east of the capital, what I'm doing is actually PD dumped there. It turns out it's heavy cav PD, I think.
Right here?
Yeah, so I put 30, there. So I put 30 PD. I have some
and you're
goblins
defending it. Yeah.
In large part, you can see what I'm doing with the commanders to try and make it the case he can't snipe commanders on it.
Yeah.
The theory is he's going to really want to retake this cap circle province, and this is a big opportunity to do some attrition on him. I think I'm also
this is good.
Because it's a mountain, so I think I'm actually making 40 goblins or something.
All right. Sorry, we've started and stopped yet again. Okay, so we were just talking about how you're protecting PD dump here in hopes that he tries to retake this. I think as Nazca, you have a couple options. Presumably now that Nabah's probably going to attack you as well. So you could potentially seize a little initiative here. This is a very likely province you're going to get attacked. There's a lot of stuff nearby. You can PD dump this and try to defend it. The other thing you could try to do, though I don't think in this case this is a wise thing to do, is try to control territory by doing light raiding to take back stuff. You could send 80 guys here or 40 guys here where you're doing the PD dump. I think for him, if he's going to try to control something like this, he would need to send literally everything. And I think that's a pretty low value move, because you're not going to have, he doesn't stand to gain very much. So I think that's actually a very bad Nazca move to move here. I think the best moves for him are to try to intercept Nabah if Nabah is going to be attacking him, or to PD dump this. Yeah,
it's so strategic. Almost everything from us has to go through there.
Yeah, I think that's right. I can say a little bit more about what we're thinking. So I believe I chatted with Nidavanger, and he said he definitely doesn't have the siege strength to want to take on the Nazca capital. But he is planning to move that army to raid onto the Nazca capital this turn. So that is threatened.
This army?
Yes, this army. And this is, part of the strength of the Nid base is that each of those has like 5 lives, so or maybe 4. So they're very
But
hard to
still,
deal with.
how many?
It's like 20.
There's
though.
just 12 defense, 8 protection. Like those can get killed pretty quickly, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they kill back though because they've got
kill back, and the thing with the
They
thing
kill
with
back? What do you mean?
Well, so they've got multiple lives. If you're sitting in melee with them, just trading blows, they'll probably pick up 3 or 4 kills.
Yeah. But I'm just thinking, I mean, I guess so then the other option for Nazca is to patrol their capital with everything.
Yeah.
See, the thing
Yeah,
is, I wouldn't have even thought about that as Nazca, because I would think this army, it would be ultra risky for it to move on top of the capital, because it's only 20 Nith beds.
Yeah, and some.
I wouldn't expect it. I would be like, that's too ballsy of a move. Like, nobody would do that.
Yeah.
But apparently they're going to.
Yeah, and the sort of the strategy that sort of we have here as a result is that Nazca has to pick between this province to the east of their capital to retake resources, the province to the south of their capital where they're that they just took in their capital, and we're sort of strongly contesting all 3 of those places. So they're likely to lose in 2 of those. Is sort of how we're thinking about this.
Yeah, these are going to be tough moves for them. But I mean, I think potentially they could win this one. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna be. Well, the only problem is we're not. Okay, if they're moving on top of the capital, why aren't you moving a scout here to see it? Come on, dude.
I screwed up.
Yeah.
that is a mistake.
Yeah, because
we're not going to do the battle.
Yeah. We will miss the battle.
All right. Well,
there's
should we go ahead and look at the next one? Okay.
Let's. There's a few things elsewhere. So Pythium in the east is finishing sort of expansion in the direction of Nazca, and one thing that is of note is what they expanded with in that province, which is gladiators. So this makes me think that probably it's more an imprisoned, really good skills build with gladiators rather than an awake expander, because you probably wouldn't be spending 14 gladiators on turn 13 taking a province in your sort of capital region. The other thing is we got hit by knights in the south on the Marignan border. And I actually made a deal with Marignan that, because I really didn't, it would be a nice way to farm XP for a shooting doji or something to kill those with it, but it's just very much inconvenient right now. So I made a deal that he's going to take that from me in exchange for 5 turns of its income, including the one where he takes it. So that'll be sort of a nice little sort of building relationship thing with him. He's sort of not sure what he wants to do with his troops right now, and he gets some XP for his knights, and we don't have to deal with sending something to deal with those knights soon. So that is all we got. And then also on the west, we are going underwater. So we'll see the battle next turn. You don't really need to.
Oh yeah, nice. Some Kappa, and you got this is your cave system. So very good. Okay, let's go ahead and go to the next turn. Turn 14. All right, we've got turn 14, and let's take a look at the battles before we get spoilers from the map. So this is a light raid into one of the distant Nazca territories.
Yeah, trying to sort of establish our border with Pythium.
And this is the province where Nazca could have chosen to PD dump, but instead they strangely put 10 PD.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing there.
This is a very strange, because 10 PD is still like 40 gold.
Yeah. One thing you can see about our sort of formation there is, since we'd sort of anticipated we might be going into that, we actually brought a bunch of our Bakumon archers to try and make a barbarian PD dump less effective.
Yeah. Oh, you got attacked here again by... These guys are just champions killing these indie attacks.
Yeah, that's yet another attack on that same province.
Okay, you got a guy sneaking to see these knights get killed. Will that be the first time you see the Marignan Bless? I can't remember.
We saw it earlier, so this is mostly just curiosity.
Oh.
It's like a little bit of intel just how well their Bless fares against the knights.
Yeah.
And I guess this turn we are...
Oh, here we go. Marignan known. Yeah, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Pretty basic Bless. Okay, they did go on the top and they were successful, though only everything died except 10 Nith beds, it looks like.
Yeah, I think they only lost like 3 or 4 Nith beds, but they lost all the other troops. Nazca had patrolled with basically the turn of recruitment that was in the capital and all of their mages, and the mages died.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Look at
told you the
that.
Lamia Queen. Hit
Jesus
I to see just
Christ.
how many times that has gotten additional followers and gems. You can see how early they lost
Wow.
it. So yeah,
Wow.
the Lamia Queen took it
I've never seen this.
summer. This is the third game I've seen somebody get that in their cap circle when running Misfortune Scales.
I feel like I'm gonna get it.
before
I'm
turn
gonna
12.
I'm gonna catch it.
It's my second game actually seeing that as well. I subbed into a Bantam game. With a...
Wait, so what happened? Did you talk with Nithbed? Did Nazca
Yeah.
try to defend the cap?
Yeah, so Nazca defended their capital with a turn's recruitment of stuff, so like 50 birds, their cap PD, maybe a little dump, and all of their mages. And
And
my
all their
understanding
mages.
is that it's just like 6 mages or something like that. Maybe not all of them, but like 6. And I think the mages died in the battle and ended up mummified. So there will now be mummy mages inside that capital.
That
and that's
seems
sort of
like a very strange. I guess he was trying to catch you here. That's what this move is.
Yes.
But that's also a very kind of weird move, especially if you expect to get attacked by Naba. This just seems a very strange play to me. I think, yeah. This also is a good example of, I think, like, I mean, when you're getting 3v, right now it's a 2v1, I guess, but presumably it's a 3v1 pretty soon. When you're getting like XV1 like that, you really need to keep your armies alive and you need to kill enemy armies. So splitting armies in the face of the, in the face of the enemy is pretty dangerous. And that's clearly what they did here, defending here and defending here.
Yeah, I mean, it could be they were trying to get rid of unrest in their capital or something like that when they, I don't know. It might be that they didn't.
Yeah.
I guess they patrolled with mages though, so no, it must be that they were sort of trying to protect against the Nidavanger attack.
This also is the time when like testing battles matters a lot. So like you get like a huge amount of leverage because you basically know exactly what he could attack your capital with. Like the thing is, like I was saying, I didn't even think it would work. So the fact that it worked against the PD and did you say there were like 50 troops and mages?
Yeah, like 50 troops and like 4 or 5 mages.
Yeah, that's a little surprising to me. So
Nid-based are really strong. Like a guy with a great sword that you have to kill 5 times. It's just a lot of of damage.
No, I believe it. Okay.
There are only about 10 of them left, so if he had combined on his cap, like you guys were saying, I think he would have won.
Oh yeah, he certainly would have, I think, with
for
130 more guys.
Yeah, so there's 2.
I mean, you can also probably, they're not berserkers, right? So you could also just kill their commander, which is pretty easy to do with birds. And then they're going to be routing for all their lives. So this works pretty well.
Underwater.
And it's an underwater connection down here too. Interesting. You won't be able to take that yet. These guys need respect, by the way. You don't want to fuck around with Ichvids.
Yeah. So I think we have an elaborate plan. If you look at the mercenaries, I believe the swimming men are available and we're buying them under the theory that
for underwater fighting.
That might be what we need to be able to go deeper underwater.
Nice. Though then you're in like a weird situation where your access to underwater is like gated by, I mean, you already were, I guess, but it's gated by water provinces.
Yeah, it's a super weird setup. But it might be that it's an isolated little cave thing down there, so it could be that it's a decent amount of income to get.
Yeah.
And the other thing, we're starting our first fort in 169. Maybe worth talking a little bit about the fact that it's turn 14 and we're starting our first fort, so it won't finish until like 19. And that has to do with the
anti-greed, man. Forts are greedy.
It's a combination of being able to spam troops and then also. I think a lot of people's fort timings are slow in this game because of that comet event that like 25 unrest across the whole world.
Yeah.
Just the foreign recruit though is really nice. I feel like you can start a little bit later.
You don't have a nap with Naba, is that correct?
We don't, but Naba asked us about going on Nazca, and they're clearly working on that. So I think it seems pretty low risk.
Yeah. I should know you're keeping troops on this border. So
yeah. Another little diplomatic thing is Naba told me around this time that, well, first when he bumped with men, the men blessed at the time was just heroism +2.
Right.
And I think it was around this time that we got the report that their bless is heroism +2, awe, and fear. So they are rocking the fear awe combo on
nice
Knights of Avalon.
That'll be fun.
I think that's all I got for this turn.
That's cool. All right, let's go ahead and go to the next one. Turn 15.
Now viewers can see we're moving on.
All right, in turn 15, let's see. I don't see really any Nazca battles here. Though you have moved on top of Nazca.
Yeah, with 470 siege strength. So you can see a little
That
bit.
is or
Oh,
340.
sorry, 340. There's more coming, yeah.
Yeah.
This
That's
is
a lot
partly
of siege strength for turn 15.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of little goblins. So, and you can see there was actually a fight with Naba there, in that Naba was trying to sneak this army on there. I think their map was still ticking down or something, and it turned out the PD patrolled them out, and so they ended up having a fight.
Huh. Okay. Interesting.
That's why you see that there's no other, like, Naba didn't attack anywhere else. They're presumably going to next turn, because I think the nap just ended.
Yeah. There were 130 guys. Did they stay, I guess?
I think it might be that it's just been the same 100 guys or so.
Okay.
Like, I think this is the same army that was in the Barbarian province.
Did he stale this turn, or like what's going on? Because there's literally no movement from him.
I do not know. He did not stale.
Okay.
My guess is he was trying to be unpredictable and catch, my stuff raiding into that province a second time.
Yeah,
Not really sure.
he's dead now. I think the only question is, can he? I think at this point you're thinking, okay, how can I defend my fort gate? And so that's the puzzle to solve. The problem is you have archers, and archers are pretty good, all things considered. In when all the troops are jammed up at the gate. You don't have that many archers, though.
We don't have that many archers, and the little goblin archers are a liability. If you bring them in a fort storming, they'll take like 2 volleys of wall archer fire and rout, and one will be very sad. So I'm not
if you have enough of them, though, you can do fire archer and clear the wall archers off first. But
yeah. Potentially. I think actually his best move here, if he wanted to, sort of have the strongest camp defense, might be to take that army, move it onto the capital on retreat orders, and they'll all retreat inside the fort, and then be able to use them in the defense next turn. But I think his better move is actually to, that's 80 flying troops. Like, I think getting revenge is probably the better plan, and that's actually what I'm worried about right now. Is if he can hop around trying to knock down my forts under construction or things like that.
I think that's not very risky. Yeah, I wouldn't be worried about that. I think the trick is, can he figure out a way to defend his... I mean, the other thing, maybe he tries to get horde of skeletons and then just keeps enough troops to help jam the gate up and just tries to skelly spam and time out the battle. The horde of skeletons, he probably isn't very close to having it researched. So
especially if he lost his mages.
Well, he didn't lose them. They're mummified. So they're back in business. The only other detail to look at is, I think we started a fort in province 117, which is in our south. That's like the far south mountain. And this was a mistake, because if you look at the scales on there, it's got Naba Dominion, and it's got death scales. And I probably could have figured out that Naba probably did not have death scales. Anyway, there's a well of pestilence there. It's a bad choice for where to build a fort.
Yeah, it's not a real Dominions game unless you're building a fort on top of a well of pestilence. Yep. You just have to accept the entropy that is this game.
I think the other downside to holding that mountain as Nazca is, now with both forts under siege, he's not going to be able to pay his troops.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think he's totally, he had some initiative. Well, he had initiative the first turn you guys attacked. Once he let his cap get sieged, he lost a ton of initiative, and then letting you get on top of it. I mean, I don't know. I don't think there's any chance he has of holding out aside from just clogging up the gate, and that's because storming forts is so cancer. But yeah, I think he's boned.
If you want to watch the Marignard killing those knights, you can. But otherwise, I think we're ready for the next.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. They got wrecked. They didn't lose anything. So let's go ahead and go to the next turn. This will probably be the last one for this. Oh, I think maybe we can try to get the whole war in this turn.
Yeah, I think 2 more is going to be good.
Okay. All right, turn 16. We've got Nazca attacking an Ebis.
So this is one of those sort of eastern provinces. I think I've got nothing there.
Okay. I wonder who. I guess this affects both of y'all's income.
It affects
I wonder.
both of us, I think. Yeah, I've definitely had, I think you may remember on the Cold Raga series, we got like some free nights from a free nights event while we were seizing it. So I think maybe it only affects us, but it.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, this is successful underwater.
Yeah.
And you've got Zots over here you can take. Those are kind of nice.
Yeah, I'm very excited about this Zots because my ambition is very much in this game to break into blood just enough to be able to get some bloodstones and maybe some other sort of utility stuff.
Yeah,
they're really good on Bakemono Sorceress. So
okay, so he has taken this. You guys are storming the castle with just the high quality troops, it looks like.
Yep. Yeah, I decided that the lower quality troops are a liability.
Okay, so you're storming with the high quality troops. You have these guys scripted differently, so they're not attacking at the same time.
Yeah, so I'm expecting 2 battles here, and that's sort of one of the complications. Like I sort of imagining there's a good chance he rides out, and so I want to make sure he can't snipe commanders. And I think there might even be some units that are sort of staying present, basically to sort of help with that fight, but not storming or moving in or something like that. And then the other thing that I put a lot of thought into is the archers at the Daibakemono archer squad at the front. It would be better to be scripted to attack rear with one of the 2 squads, but the thing which I'm really hoping for is to get some arrow fire on his mage corps, because those longbows are really long range. But I didn't think that having all 27 of those stand there and shoot was going to necessarily work for.
I think this. By the way, I'm just going to go on a record. I think this is a horrible idea. Maybe you guys do it and it works, but Jesus, this seems so risky to me. I've played it. I mean, just single player. I've lost my ass so many times trying to storm a fort with something like this. It's just the fort gates are so unforgiving. And if he has enchantment 3 for reanimate skeletons plural, I feel like he wins if he has like 10 death 1 mages.
But 1 mage is a lot, but we'll see. I will say that the replay will be different from what actually happened in the battle. So it's definitely a little bit of a dicey battle.
All right. I feel totally confident in you guys taking a battle on the open field. I just don't feel confident at all about storming.
Yeah.
So
yeah, this is definitely.
In fact, I wouldn't do it. I just wouldn't do it. I think to storm a fort with these guys, I think you need a ton of these archer dudes. These guys.
Yeah, or mages or priests, right? Like, because if you're worried about skelly spam,
if you could do
bring
fire elementals and get those to help go through the fort walls, or if you had you either need evocations to blow up the gate, you need ethereal stuff that can go through the walls, or you need archers or
One thing that's worth noting, look at our research. we have nothing.
I know. Yeah.
There's like 3 mages in the whole nation or something like that. It's really pretty limited.
I think this actually is kind of like, I think it's worth if you play Shinuyama again, maybe rethinking some of the early game, because I think while you're like super well set up to win your first war, I don't think you're super well set up to storm forts with and I'm sure you're going to win this battle and it's going to work, but I just don't. It just seems like for a hyper aggressive early opening like you've done, which I like, I feel like it just has like a weakness in the build for going through forts. So
yeah, I mean, I think like a perfectly fine strategy that I think would be a lot safer here would be to just sit on his capital, bring forward another 50 Daibakemono archers, be able to have archer superiority for it, bring some priests, that kind of thing.
That's exactly what I think would be a good way to do it.
It's a lot of logistics, right? If you look at how far away, and one of the things that is very much on my mind, we're starting another fort this turn, I think in one of the farms in 159, I guess, if you want to check.
I don't know, 59.
I think the one just south of there, probably.
Yeah.
No, on the mountain at the east. But we really, it's like I really want the forted lab in Nazca to be able to make mages. Like I'm really feeling that yes, I'm in great shape in this war, but like I don't have any capability to do anything other than run trips to people right now. And
And that's a good ability, but the risk with that too, I think the risk with any kind of scales build opening like this, especially when you're not doing, a lot of mage production, is that if somebody has a less build that just doesn't really care about your scales units very much, it's a long way to you get to a spot where you can have magic or something that's going to allow you to actually like effectively fight these guys. So
Yeah,
I don't think you don't necessarily, it's different than like a 1v1, because in a 1v1 you have to like beat the player, but in like a free-for-all game you kind of just have to be less appetizing than your neighbor. So it's very possible still as Shinuyama, even if they have a bless that kind of hard counters you, where you're just making troops, that because you're number one in troop production by like a mile, they just choose to go after someone else.
Yeah, I mean, I think that might be part of the calculus for Asphodel and not wanting to fight us, and that even though probably from a Doomstack perspective they could cream us, they might not want to be raided by Bakemono and all of their backline stuff constantly for a long time.
Yeah, worried about stealth stuff hitting their temples. Nobody likes that.
Yeah. Speaking of Asphodel, I think they now have 3 thrones already. So all of the ones bordering their sort of center place, except the one in our northeast or on our northwest, and they claimed the throne of air this turn. So
let's take a look.
That's actually important for thinking about our matchup with them, because the free airfield on that means that one of the better ways to fight really strong sort of sacreds with light armor like theirs is archery, and that's going to be about as effective now. So I'm definitely
it's still good against the chaff though, but and I mean, I think it's even probably pretty good against because the centaur, like the black centaur, have shields, little tiny shields, but the free spawn sacreds they get, I forget exactly what they're called now, but those don't have shields. So they're probably pretty excited to get this throne. Do you know what the other thrones they have are?
So I believe the one in their southeast is misfortune, and the one in their northwest is bureaucracy, which is one which you need to decide if you want to claim as Asphodel, because it's going to make it hard to keep gold in your empire. But the other traits are obviously pretty useful.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, let's go and watch the storming. Actually, it's 35 minutes. Let's do the storming in the next turn or next episode.
Good.
All right. Well, Dark Side Cookies, Demosthenes. All right, Dark Side Cookies. You haven't talked in a while. Anything you want to add?
I think just because of how the nations are laid out in this particular game, I don't think we're quite as defenseless in terms of, like, sure, we're missing magic, but we do have the Shooting Doji with the Sleep Aura, and I really don't think Marignon wants to fight into that. Janguard typically get a light bless on the bottom, so and then Nazca failed expansion. So if somebody was going to take advantage of us, it'd really have to be Asphodel.
Yeah, I mean, Marignon kind of can, but Marignon has high resource sacred, so that oftentimes they're not like a blessed rush nation.
Well, in Dominion 6, they get dismounted by the Sleep Aura.
Oh, wait, what was the deal here? Oh, they would kill it for you, and you pay them gold. I gotcha.
Yeah, exactly. So if you look in our messages, I think we've got outgoing, 100 whatever gold going to them. Diplomacy.
Maybe it was previous turn.
Or I fixed it before.
Dark Side Cookies, were you in favor of storming the cap, or were you against it?
In favor.
In favor?
Okay.
All right.
Go.
All right, we'll see you guys next turn. Cheers.